Hey, this is Kurt with Sender Rope TV. Well, congratulations, President Bush. You got the FISA bill passed through. Wow, I guess it was all your hard work. It had nothing to do with the fact that most of our senators and our congressmen are bought and paid for. The opponents assailed the eavesdropping program, asserting that it imperiled citizens' right to privacy from government intrusion. But Bush said the legislation protects those rights as well as American security. Well, thank you, Mr. President. I'm so glad that you're so concerned about my rights. This bill will help our intelligence professionals learn who the terrorists are talking to. You know, what they're saying and what they're planning. He said in a brief in a White House appearance after the vote. Here's what I think of you and your stupid legislation, you traitorous dog. You know, you took an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution, and that goes for you too in the House and Senate. This is freaking ridiculous. You know, you want to revise some legislation and make it so that it works within the confines of the law, that's great. But the fact that you granted retroactive immunity to telecom companies that violated or maybe allegedly violated the rights of the citizens is pathetic. That should have gone to trial, and we should have been able to look at the situation. And we know, based on the fact that they gave them immunity, they were probably guilty. But I guess now we'll never know. So this can go in the trash can too. You know, growing up, I used to think about what kind of life I was going to have, where I would be, what I'd be when I was older, if I'd go to college and all of these things. And I'd dream about different things. I'd dream about the kind of car I'd want to have, if I was going to get married, if I was going to have kids. And you know, I used to think about the world we lived in, and when I grew up, it was the Russians, and they were the bad guys. They were the communists, you know, the Soviet Union, and we had nukes, and they had nukes, and we were all on a hair trigger. We don't really know who's gonna press the button first. But you know, we understood who our enemies were back then, and we had this illusion of freedom. Good guys, us. Bad guys, them. And we lived our lives under that illusion. I can't even give my sons that illusion, and that breaks my heart. Because I used to live in a free country where I couldn't be labeled an enemy combatant because I said something mean about the president, and couldn't be just hauled off and disappeared onto some who knows where godforsaken Bulgarian prison where they beat the crap out of me and put electrodes on my balls. It breaks my heart that is the country we now live in. That is not America. That is not liberty. Tell me, if I have to give up any of my liberty to ensure security, do I deserve either? And the answer is no. Right now, the Department of Homeland Security is seriously considering stun bracelets for airline passengers. That we would all then, instead of a boarding pass, you'd get a nice fancy electronic ID tag, a stun bracelet. This stun bracelet would be worn from the time you check in to the time you go all the way until you get off of the plane. Anytime that you're getting rowdy, maybe complaining, maybe ask for peanuts too many times, or you get out of your seat when you're not supposed to, zap! They can just zap you if that's what they got. I mean, are we such sheeple? Are we such sheeple that we would take such a ridiculous, stupid, idiotic thing to get onto an airplane? And the answer, I think, is yes. I think we are. We as a nation. Now, me personally, if that's what it comes down to, I'm done flying. I'm done flying. This whole oil thing. For any of you that actually out there that are watching this, maybe you don't really know where you stand on it. You think, well, we should drill here and drill now. Or maybe you're on the other side. You think, well, we shouldn't drill because, you know, the caribou and all that, you know, environmental crap. This isn't about oil. This is, well, in a sense it is. It's about money. But the price of oil and the cost per barrel, the price at the pump, it's all inflation. The Fed is printing more money, which makes your money worth less. And the price goes up. You know, George Bush, since he took office, our national debt, not the deficit, the debt has gone up over $3 trillion. And I think by the time he's out of office, it'll be around $4 trillion. And that debt is really just printed money. They printed more money, and so that they could spend it. And money we didn't have It's like me turning on my printer and start printing out some cash. It's funny money. It's not worth anything. Our money's not backed by anything. It's a promissory note. Next time you look at your dollar, any denomination, it says Federal Reserve note on the top. Used to be that you could take that United States dollar and go cash it in for some silver, some gold. It was real money. It had real tangible value backed behind it. Now it doesn't. A lot of reasons for that. Basically, it comes down to the Federal Reserve. We need to get rid of them. And yet, the boneheaded idiots, the retards, the stupid morons that are running this country, the drunk monkeys, have decided that they want to give the Federal Reserve more power. Wow, that's... every time I hear that, it just blows my mind. And nobody seems to... Everyone just kind of shrugs. Whoa, man. I just don't understand what's going on, dude. Right on. Whoa. Where's my American Idol? Hey, when's this Screen Actors Guild thing going to be over so I can watch some more Lost, dude? You know what I call this? I call this the propaganda campaign of shock and awe on the American people. We are so stunned and shocked and awed by how bad things have gotten lately that we just don't even know what to do. We've stuck our heads in the sand and we're pretending, la 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 la, everything's fine. I'm not listening to you. I'm not listening. No, 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 and everything's good. Everything's good. And anybody that's got half a brain, that does their own shopping, that isn't some rich guy who's got somebody doing all the work for them, does their own shopping, buys their own gas, can see that everything's not fine. We've lost 400,000 jobs, I think, this quarter or this year. That's not fine. You know, the only reason we haven't lost more is everyone just keeps thinking it's going to turn around, it's going to turn around. And at some point we have to realize it's not going to turn around. And the reality is that we need a recession. When you have fake money, you have to have a recession. We're in a recession. And they don't want to say it. We are in a recession. We're in a recession. It's not that hard to say. We're in a recession. Everybody say it with me. We're in a recession. It's very easy to say. I don't know why nobody can say it. But we're in a recession. And if we don't deal with this recession that we're in because of our funny money, we're going to be saying we're in a depression. And nobody wants that. You know, everyone's talking about war with Iran. Even Barack Hussein Obama is talking about this kind of stuff. Oh, nothing's off the table. I'm all about change, you know, but I don't actually want to change anything. It's just change because change is good and we like change. But let me ask you a question. All my neoconservative friends out there. I don't really think they need a nuclear weapon, Iran. But if that's what they're doing and every intelligence report says that's not what they're doing, or there's no evidence to say that that's what they're doing, and even if there was, they would be months, 20, 30, 50 months out from this happening. But in any case, if Iran wants a nuclear weapon, who are we to say they can't have one? Because no one's been able to answer that question. Well, because they might give it to a terrorist. Might? Is it the same problem we had with Iraq? Bogus BS intelligence that didn't mean anything. All a bunch of freaking lies, and we all can look back now and go, oh yeah, it was a bunch of lies. Yeah, even the staunchest neoconservative would admit, yeah, okay, yeah, it was lies. But Saddam was a bad guy, and we need to get rid of him. Okay, Saddam was a bad guy. Okay, but who created Saddam Hussein? We did. Who gave him all his weapons and money? We did, because we were pissed off that the Iranians had kicked us out after we overthrew the democratically elected leader in Iran. So at what point do we stop meddling with the Middle East and let them deal with their own problems? Israel's got nuclear weapons. They're fine. Nobody's messing with Israel, okay? And that isn't even the stupid part about the whole thing, is that Ahmadinejad's whole thing about wiping Israel off the face of the map was mistranslated. Not even a proper translation of it. He was talking about more like regime change. Why is it okay for the United States to whack everybody over the head with the freedom stick and this regime change stick, but nobody else can do it? You know what I want? I want a regime change in America. I want to go back to our country being a republic. We have this, oh, we're a democracy. No, we're not a democracy. We're a freaking republic, and that's what I'd like to go back to. I'm all for regime change. Let's start with regime change right here in America.